Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? We're going to continue our studies of the American history, and I'm just going to do a crash course real quick because we're going to cover a lot. I was thinking about the word Indian, and the word Indian, and when you mirror the word Indian, NIA is a Hindu in India, sect of people that groom the living and the dead. They keep track of the living and the dead and make them all pretty. Yes? That's that part of the word. Now we know that right now it is offensive to call people Indians. We now have to call them Native Americans. But the Indians didn't call themselves Indians. They didn't have the English language. Our government gave the Indians the name Indians, and now they're saying they're not allowed, and it's offensive to call them Indians. Well, if we mirror Indian, like I say, NIA is a sect of group in India that groom the living and the dead. And then if we look at the next, DN, it's an acronym for Department Note. And didn't the Department of Interior put the Indians on an Indian reservation? And so I was like, well, there's just, I don't have to, every single one of the things that I do, I don't have to do a video on. Does that make sense? But what I did say, I was like, oh, a DNI, right? So I went over to Twitter and looked at the DNI. The last tweet, the tweet that's right now, how ironic, it's National American, Native American month. And they're celebrating the Indians. I thought, well, that's just great. I went down a tweet or two, and I saw the most craziest thing. They are now saying, and have this thing going out, government matters. Government matters. So basically, we've covered everything that matters. And they're all offensive to somebody. Government matters is offensive to somebody. Black Lives Matters is offensive to somebody. All lives matter is offensive to somebody. So it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get offended if you say something matters. And that's the whole intention, is they want you to get to the point that you don't care, that nothing matters. But let's continue with our studies and look at something. I went and thought, well, matters. I mean, everybody says it. No matter what the word they say before, it matters. So let's go ahead and mirror the word matters and see what we can come up with. Well, the first thing that we can see is SRETTAM. And if we go and look at SR in the dictionary, it stands for social revolution. The abbreviation for SR right here, number 12, social revolutionary. Social revolutionary is all matters, any matters, all lives matters, all hashtag matters. Is it not a social revolution? I'm just saying that witchcraft hides things in our plain sight, and most people don't realize that they're being played. Anytime you stand up for a matters, you're being played with the social revolution. Now the next little bit, ET. We now know, this word ET is an abbreviation for extraterrestrials. What does the Q movement want you to wait for? Not Jesus Christ, but extraterrestrials. But if we look in the dictionary, for ET, right, it might have a different meaning besides extraterrestrials. And if we look at the dictionary and study etymology, we can see that it does have a meaning. It's a dialect of the past of eat. So if you've already had your meal, it could be spelled as ET. Instead of eaten, in the English language, a correct spelling for eaten, if you've already eaten your dinner, Could be spelled E-T. So far, we can see that social revolution is eaten and Tam. And like I say, all these things can go much deeper. These are simple, basic, off-the-cuff, quick. Here's my whole notes from the last, You see, I don't go very deep into it just because it pops out so quick and easy. And that's what etymology does. When they were going to teach and show a secret society, a new language, it becomes so easy once you understand how it's done. And then it has to be able to be readable, right? Social revolution eats, and then Tam O'Shanter, in the dictionary for Tam, I didn't find a word for Tam, but we do have, where is it? Here it is. It is an abbreviation, Tam. Where is it? Oh, shoot. TAM is on the next page. Tam. Oh, man. There it is. TAM. TAM. It is shortening of Tam O'Shanter. And what is a Tam O'Shanter? A Tam O'Shanter is a hat. But the name of the hat, Tam O'Shanter, comes from a poem. If we look at Tam O'Shanter, hero of the poem of that name by Robert Burns in 1796. It wasn't that long ago, 1796. So 20 years after our American Revolution, area war, after we became a country, 20 years afterwards, it's a tight woven headband. Tam O'Shanter, after the poem this hat was named after. All Life Matters is about a hat. Social revolution eating hat? I don't know. What is Tam O'Shanter poem? So, like I said, it's a few hundred years old, so it's done and written in Old English. I breezed through it. You can look at it on your own time and add to it how you want. But it is about a drunk that goes out and drinks and is always just having no care of any. This is my interpretation, because I didn't read every line. I just went through and caught a few key things. And I was like, wait a minute. They're talking about how this person's always drunk, even on Sundays. And how he gets wrapped up in warlocks. Wizards and warlocks? Yeah, he gets caught up in warlocks. Warlocks is in the poem. And they talk about how he's always drunk. Even on Sundays. I don't know the moral of the poem. I guess I should know more before I start talking about the poem. But he's always drunk. And what is alcohol? Another word for alcohol? Spirits. A social revolution, an ET, is an extraterrestrial. It is a spirit, it is a falling angel. Social revolution eats. The ETs eat people that are all involved in the spirits. Like I said, I'm just putting a story together. Isn't that what we do? History. We sit there and say, oh, I know. Any historian takes the act. George Washington crossing the Delaware. They take that. You don't just say George Washington takes the Delaware. You fill in the blanks. You make it a story. It was a cold winter night. The water in the river was frozen with icebergs dangerously flowing down the river. And bravely they got into their boats and became heroes. This is a story of a hero. So, again, if you think that every single thing in the world has now matters and it triggers everybody on the opposite side, sooner or later, no one's going to matter about anything and the ETs will eat you up. I'm not saying there is a reptilian group that controls this earth, but I'm just saying the English language